start, sir?
Yes, please.
Professor Uma, we can start.
Harita, can you share today's poster, please? So we begin the valediction of the IMW, the International Masterclass Week 2022. So it is again, good afternoon, France, Germany, and Switzerland, and good evening, India. So today's program, we begin with a feeling of gratitude and a feeling of satisfaction of having had lovely days, a beautiful inauguration, 3 days of masterclasses, and now we are at the last day where we still have powerful speakers to share their ideas with us. We have also our Dean International Relations here, who was the presidential speaker during the inaugural. And for today, we have our Vice Chancellor. I request the head of our department, Professor Charumati, to welcome the gathering.
Thank you, Professor Uma. The most honorable Vice Chancellor of Pondicherry University, Professor Gurmeet Singh Ji, the most respected Dean, School of Management, Professor Chandrasekhar Rao Ji, the most respected Dean, International Relations, Professor Raju Ji, Professor Sylvie Chevrier, Deputy Vice President, International Relations, University Gustave Eiffel, France, Professor Laurent Bergman and Mr. Jens Andreas, Deputy Director, International Affairs, Koblenz University, Germany, Ms. Priscilla from International Office, School of Management, Freiburg, Switzerland, esteemed faculty colleagues, research scholars, my dear students, good afternoon and good evening. So, Department of Management Studies, Pondicherry University has established strong industry-focused teaching programs and cutting-edge research. The DMS has grown in leaps and bounds, having 300 plus MBA students, 86 plus research scholars, 200 plus PhDs awarded, 1,000 plus publications by 12 eminent faculty, international MOUs, more foreign students, student exchanges to foreign partnering universities, more recruiters, more research projects, more B School awards, and lot of achievements and laurels by students and faculty. Today, we are concluding a milestone event celebrating the collaboration between our partner universities from France, Germany, and Switzerland. So in the wake of pandemic, we have taken a very bold decision to reposition our department by maximizing international collaboration. The pandemic could have signaled a disaster for higher education, but our university has sought new and innovative ways to increase international partnership. DMS has been extremely resilient, innovative, and we had not just weathered the pandemic, but had found a silver lining too. I would say that these partnerships with leading European universities are more integrated and strategic. What we are seeing is far better integration of the four most important aspects: academic partnerships, student mobility, faculty exchange and mobility, and research partnerships. On day one, Dr. Chandrasekhar Rao Ji, Dean School of Management, and Dr. Subramania Raju Ji, Dean International Relations, were sharing their thoughts on the partnerships for future during the inaugural session. The inaugural address by Dr. Elmer Laurent Bergman, Director International Affairs, Koblenz University, Germany, who talked about the power of partnership, has actually made us realize the different dimensions of partnerships and the opportunities it brings. We also had greetings from France by Eric Hetzler, Vice Dean, International Relations, University of East Paris, France. On the second day, Professor Frie Steenhoff, Professor Innovation Management from Koblenz University of Applied Sciences, Rainer Campus, Germany, has delivered a session on Innovation Experience Management. On the third day, Professor Eric Hetzler, Vice Dean, International Relations from University of East Paris, has delivered a session on Gearing Up for Globalization 4.0. On the fourth day, Professor Bart Noor, School of Management, Freiburg University, Switzerland, talked about the culture of neuromarketing. I once again thank all of you for the grand success of this event. To achieve this present status, our leader, Professor Gurmeet Singh, Vice Chancellor of Pondicherry University, has been providing the right guidance and support to take the DMS and School of Management to a newer heights. Under his leadership, DMS signed so many MOUs for student and faculty exchanges, organized many international conferences, EDPs, faculty development programs, workshops, and started a new program called MBA Data Analytics. Professor Gurmeet Singh is a very well-known administrator and academician with a very vast research and teaching experience of more than 4 decades, and he is a world-renowned researcher in the field of corrosion science and smart materials. And he has won many prestigious national and international awards. Professor is committed to take Pondicherry University to newer heights, and we are very proud to follow our leader. On behalf of DMS School of Management and on my own behalf, I welcome our Professor Gurmeet Singh, Honorable Vice Chancellor. I welcome you, Professor. Next, I welcome our respected Dean, School of Management, Professor Ravji, and also Professor Raju, Dean, International Relations. Their consistent and unconditional support and guidance for every new initiative that DMS takes, may it be EDP, FDP, or new program, everywhere they are helping us. I welcome you both, sir. Then next, I welcome Professor Sylvie, Deputy Vice President, International University, Gustave Eiffel, France. Professor Sylvie has been instrumental in shaping the partnership with University Gustave Eiffel. I welcome you, Professor, for this milestone event. I next welcome Mr. Jens Andreas, Deputy Director, International Affairs, Koblenz University, Germany. Next, I welcome Ms. Priscilla, International Office, School of Management, Freiburg, Switzerland. And an analysis of the state and institutional responses to COVID-19 demonstrates the importance of global interconnectedness of the goals and targets to prevent the spread of the pandemic. As rightly observed by Angel Gurria, OECD Secretary General, we are dealing with a world characterized by non-linearities, tipping points, and asymmetrical relations, where a small cause can have a big effect. As a result, the nature of challenges means that no country can overcome them on its own. These rationales underline the importance of constantly reviewing internationalization strategies to address the post-pandemic world. So DMS is looking forward to expand the collaborations with our partner universities in more areas. As rightly observed by Kwak Simon, QS, a globally recognized provider of analytics and insight to the higher education sector, the most important aspect of a partnership's endurance is an alliance of ideas and goals, which we are upholding in DMS. With this note, I welcome my esteemed faculty colleagues, MOU coordinators, research scholars, invitees, my dear students, and each one of you for this valedictory function of International Masterclass Week. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Professor Charumati. On behalf of the Dean School of Management and on his own behalf, I request our Dean International Relations, Professor Subramaniam Raju, to facilitate our event. Professor Raju, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, good evening to everyone, respected Vice Chancellor and professors of different universities from Germany, from France and Switzerland, and faculty of DMS and students. Good evening to everyone. And I'm very happy to be part of this program, as we know very well that DMS is one of the very active department which is having so many MOUs with the partner universities, and they're also encouraging students to send to the different universities to pursue their semesters, and I'm very happy to be again, though I was given opportunity to be in the inaugural, And again, I'm here at the valedictory where Honorable Vice Chancellor is also there. So I thank the organizers for the opportunity given to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Raju. Always a pleasure to have you and your good wishes with us. We have our Vice Chancellor, Professor Gurmeet Singh, here today to deliver the presidential address. To introduce Professor Gurmeet Singh, he has joined as the 8th Vice Chancellor of Pondicherry University in 2017. Under his able leadership, internationalization of the university has taken great shape. And it bears testimony to his leadership that all the MOUs that we are speaking of today, the 3 MOUs that we have here today in this meet, have been signed during his tenure as a Vice Chancellor. Professor Singh is a globally acclaimed expert in the field of corrosion science, chemistry, and smart materials. He graduated from the very prestigious and famous St. Stephen's College, Delhi, and has taught in Delhi University for more than 2 decades before joining Pondicherry University. He has held 9 research projects worth 75 million rupees, and he has a lot of research papers to his credit. He has served as a visiting scientist and professor in Japan, Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. He has also been on various academic assignments to several countries, including Singapore, South Korea, Australia, and Kenya, and many countries in Europe. He has been honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award of the National Association of Corrosion Engineers in 2019. He was presented with the UCO G.D. Birla Award for his par excellence contributions to science and academics in 2021. This is Professor Gurmeet Singh, and we present to you today his presidential address. Professor Gurmeet Singh, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Uma, for very kind words. I am delighted to be here. I don't know whether I should say good evening or good morning or good afternoon, so I'll say better good day to everybody. And as I said, I'm delighted to be here because we have representatives from France, Germany, and Switzerland. Now, this immediately takes me back to the year 1981, when I had my first exposure to an international conference. As a young lecturer, I traveled to Frankfurt to present my research paper in International Corrosion Congress, which was held in Frankfurt in a place called Mainz, very near to Frankfurt. And it was a 4 days conference. We had a very good academic, mind-boggling exercises, I'll say. And then after that, some of our young friends, we said, why don't we travel across to a few countries in Europe? We didn't have much time, but then we did travel to Switzerland. And we traveled all over in Switzerland, let me tell you, in about 5 days. Very hectic time we had. And we finally spent a full day in a city called Basel, which I had the pleasure of visiting very recently, about 5 months back, for a good 10 days. So when I was in Basel, I was taken to a point, those European friends will know, where 3 countries meet: Switzerland, Germany, and France. So we were so excited there. We were jumping from one side to another, and we'll say, now you take my photograph in France, now I'm in Germany, and finally in Switzerland. And I remember we would have taken, because as a youngster, you have a lot of excitement. So I remember we would have clicked about more than 50 photographs. And then we recollected the good science that these countries had done in their own respective manner. Then gradually, when we grew in the subject, moved here and there all over the world and presented different kinds of papers, and we had the pleasure of interacting with the greats of this from all over in various fields, management included. My second pleasant experience, which I would like to share with you, is that I was traveling on a big steamer in that lake in Geneva. And there I was overhearing a dialogue between 2 friends. They were also taking good photographs with very high quality Minolta cameras. And one was a professor of economics, very well-known professor, and the other was a carpenter from the United States. Both came from California. And they were discussing all kinds of issues at that time related to world affairs. And I was very pleasantly surprised that an economic professor discussing issues related to world order with a carpenter. And when I discussed that with that carpenter, he said yes, he was very much interested in economics. He studied for a while, then left, earned money, joined the university again, finished his master's in economics, and he's back to his carpentry business. But both of them were making enough money. And at that time, I thought in my mind, would there be a time when we will also have an occasion in our country which will give us an opportunity of multi-entry, multi-exit? You can exit anytime, earn your money, come back to university, again do your degrees. But I had to wait for a good 20, 25 years for that occasion. And that is what has come up now in the form of our new education policy, which gives us this the three capsules: learn to leave, educate to empower, and teach to transform. And this is one policy where it is provided that you can always leave anytime, earn enough money, come back to university. There will be a bank of credit you can deposit, and in a fair bit of time you can have your degrees earned in whatever convenient manner you can. So these are two pleasant experiences which are related to my visit to a point where these three countries met, and a point where I saw these two interacting, and then this is correlated into this new policy, where now we will also have something similar, which will remind me of that pleasant incident. Now, let me tell you, I'm very pleased that these three friends, academic friends from these countries are here. Therefore, I take great pleasure in extending my heartfelt welcome to our friends from these countries. Professor Sylvie Chevrier from France, then Mr. Jens Andreas from Germany, and then Professor Stellar Lenkong from Switzerland, and Professor Borgman, whom I met earlier when he came last time. So these stalwarts are all here, and I'm sure you would have had a very wonderful, great academic exchange. Let me tell you, when my friends from management studies, they came to me that we want to sign an MOU with Germany, France, at different points of time, of course, and Switzerland, I straightway said yes. I jumped to the idea of signing this, and we did sign. It was a very pleasant ceremony that we had. And after that, as things go in most of the universities, that MOUs are signed, they're put in the files, and people forget about what was this MOU about. But I'm very delighted, I'm very pleased to tell you that these MOUs are not dormant MOUs. They're very active MOUs ever since we have signed. And I was very, very happy when I found our students going to these places, studying there, exchanging ideas with the professors there and students there, and coming back with rich experience. So when I shared some of my thoughts with these students who came back, I found that they were a lot better as compared to what they were when they were here. So this kind of an international exposure and this kind of exchanges will enrich the students from both sides. This is one of the hallmarks of these MOUs. Faculty exchanges there, students exchanges there, of course, and I am sure in due course of time you would be able to organize some workshop or conference or some academic related program which will enrich these MOUs further. So I am looking forward to that day also, when we'll celebrate these MOUs further by organizing some good academic exchange programs in the form of a joint conference where we will invite other international experts also. And this will be a great help to our youngsters, particularly those who are doing their research. Because I am of the opinion that if a researcher is going to attend such programs, one gets wonderful ideas about where to embark on in enriching the research in which one is carrying on. So therefore, I'm really happy that International Masterclass Week you are celebrating, which will go a long way in enriching our young minds, particularly those who are in research, and they'll get some wonderful ideas to enrich themselves. Those who have attended this week in a very serious manner, I'm sure would be feeling much better, much more enriched as compared to what they were before the start of this. So the program or the academic program should not end here only. I will urge all of you, and there are brilliant teachers here. I will urge all of you to organize more such events, wherein those who have not been able to get to these programs will also get a chance. I know COVID has played a spoil sport, but then hats off to our IT experts all over the world that they have designed programs in a manner that we have been able to connect with one another in the best of ways. And we are now feeling as if we are as good as normal. And that's what it is. You have exchanged, you have held this meeting. I wish we continue to have more such events, which will enrich our academics all over, particularly amongst our three countries. And our students will be benefited uh, in the best of ways. So I compliment, I give my richest compliments to the staff members who have taken a lead in organizing these programs and wish that they continue to do it. And our fellow partners from France, Germany, and Switzerland, about, about which I have very pleasant memories, as I said, would continue to support and to join us in enriching the academics all over the world. Let's take a pledge that jointly we can fight and we can make this place much better place to live. We continue to work for that goal. I'm sure we'll win and we'll get over all our problems. Thank you so very much. All the very best, and God bless all of you.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful, anecdotal, and interesting presidential address. As usual, it was very lively, and you brought slices of life into the whole address. That's what makes the difference whenever you speak. And sir, we have been organizing this. Last year, Professor Victor had organized, along with UPEC, University of East Paris, France. That was to celebrate 2 years of the MOU. And we have Professor Eric Hertzler in the meet. He was the co-organizer of that conference from UPEC. So this year we are having this all three together, Fribourg, Koblenz, and UPEC together, and we have a curtain raiser to Gustav Eiffel University. So it is like 4 MOUs, 3+1 MOUs that we are trying to celebrate today.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes, and in the previous year we had the COVID pandemic and the adjustments to the new normal. That was a theme, and we had speakers from all over Singapore, Canada, Australia, from various places across time zones. And this time we have from our partner universities, and we have had 3 great masterclass lectures from Fee Steinhoff, Koblenz, on innovations, that is innovation experience management. And then we have had Professor Eric Hertzler on globalization 4.0. And we have had Professor Bart Noer on the culture of neuromarketing. So it has always been an academic enrichment combined with the partnership, celebration of partnership that we have been having every year. We hope to expand the number of partners year after year after year. Thank you, sir, for your very encouraging words and that spirit that you're giving us to go forward. We have today with us a very, very welcome, person here to deliver the valedictory address for this IMW 2022. We have Professor Sylvie Chevrier. She trained as a management and social sciences professor in France and Canada. Her international experience aroused her interest in cross-cultural issues. She earned her PhD from the University of Quebec, Montreal in 1995. She is a professor of the University Gustave Eiffel in France. And formerly, she was a deputy director of the Management Research Institute of the University of East Paris, France. She's now the Deputy Vice President for International Relations. Her main research focus has been on cross-cultural management, international work teams, whether co-located or dispersed, and the professional integration of migrants. These have been her focus of interest and passion in her research. She has conducted researches in several countries, including Canada, France, Switzerland, Vietnam, Madagascar, Spain, Belgium, Sweden, to name a few. She is the co-author of the recent book, Cross-Cultural Management Revisited, a qualitative perspective, published by the Oxford University Press. And this has been awarded the 2020 Best Book of the European Academy of Management. This is a kind of scholar that we have today amidst us. Not just her scholarship, she also brings with her today her gracious hand extending a partnership, a possible partnership with Gustav Eiffel University. And to all the audience here, we found a very interesting phenomenon there, of what you call real synergy in action. Gustav Eiffel and University of East Paris share the School of Management. What more can you say about sharing resources? This is a beautiful, beautiful example to us, and is a very good learning experience where you can share an institute between two universities. So this is a lesson that we have learned, and we just can't wait a moment more to listen to Professor Sylvie Chevrier for her valedictory address for the IMW 2022. Over to you, Professor Sylvie.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this very kind introduction. And dear Vice Chancellor, dear colleagues, I'm very honored to have been invited to give this address, and very grateful to the professors who gave me this opportunity to participate to this international masterclass. I was not able to attend the previous class, but I'm sure that there have been great moments during this week. And for me, this kind of masterclass really epitomizes what we can do as a fruitful international collaboration. So I would like to share my screen. Would that be possible maybe for?
Yes.
Right in the middle, you would see an upward arrow. Yeah, you could click on that.
Okay, let's try to select this.
Probably Eric could help. Eric is now
No,
familiar
I
with
will try to
that box with the arrow.
Okay,
it says present now.
Okay, so I cannot see you anymore, but
Yes.
I will come back to you, face to face later. And I would like to focus my talk on digitalization and internationalization. I will add just a few wrap-up comments to what you have discussed during this week, and to try to figure out how these two phenomenal changes that have happened for the last decades, digitalization and internationalization, will continue to shape the world of tomorrow. So once again, I will not cover all the topic, it's huge, but I would like to hopefully provide you with a few points and a few insights on this influence of the digitalization and internationalization. So thanks to both of them and the phenomenon of the compression of time and space that I think my colleague Eric Herzler discussed earlier this week, we have really observed and been the witness of a major change in the world recently. So let's start with digitalization, and let's look at...
Just, Professor, we cannot see your presentation.
Oh, you cannot?
Professor Sylvie, are you using a Mac?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Amir, she's
Amir,
using a
can
Mac.
you guide?
Yes, Professor. It's similar to Windows laptop. So at the bottom, you can open Google Meet.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a hand right at the bottom. So next to the hand, there's that square with the
Yes.
arrow.
Yeah.
You can press on it.
Yes, and I have the option to share.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then you can choose a window.
Yeah.
And then select the file you are opening, your PPT. So we select a window.
Yeah.
Can you see it, Professor?
Yes.
Yes. And then you will have an option of the file, and your PPT should be on the screen.
Okay, so yeah, but I'm sorry. I have a warning saying that for safety reason I cannot share it. I should authorize.
Yeah, you need to allow it, Professor. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really sorry for this.
She can share the PPT with us, no? We can present.
Oh yeah, that would be a good idea if I can.
We can send
We
it
can
to
do that.
email to
Yeah.
Amir or
Yeah, because it will. Yeah, we will. I will send it. So.
Amir, can you put your email ID
Yes.
on the chat?
Don't worry, Professor Sylvie. This
Yeah.
will give a chance for every youngster to realize that we have come a long way in digitalization, So the journey has been long enough in real sense. So please carry on. Our friends will do it for you, just to share that.
You have amirabdu1989 at gmail.com in the chat
Yes.
box. Yes.
Yeah. I'm
so
just.
she would be having Victor's email ID, right?
No, we have
Yeah,
already shared
Yeah,
that.
Share it to
Yes.
Dr. Victor so that he can.
Sorry for that. It's just the usual hurdles of. So hopefully, Professor Uma Chandrasekaran, you have received my mail with the attached presentation.
Just a minute.
In the meanwhile, Professor, you can try one more time to present from your screen. And just try to click on that sign at the bottom to present.
Yeah, but I think, I need to provide some kind of authorization in the preferences, and I have to, and well, it takes some.
Professor, I haven't received. Yes, I just got the mail. Yes.
Madam, for the permission, you might see it
Don't worry.
at the top of the browser.
Yeah. Oh, you mean?
Amir?
Yes,
Amir?
Yeah, but
yes, ma'am.
I
Yes,
forwarded
Professor.
it. Have you got it?
One.
Have you got the email, Amir?
I'm checking, Professor. One moment.
Yes.
Yeah, I apologize for the participants. I'm sorry.
No, this is Google Meet is a little bit,
We are actually victims of Apple versus Google battle
Yes.
at the moment.
Probably, yeah.
Sundar Pichai is the CEO of Google. So probably India is leaning towards Google.
And it's a very nice case study of internationalization and digitalization.
Absolutely. But we will make it.
Dr. Uma, you can share, no?
Yes, we will.
Yes. Amir, did you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Just
you
one
can
moment.
start sharing. This is actually more comfortable for you, Professor Sylvie, because you'll be in the meet. You'll be able to see all of us.
Absolutely. So
Yes,
I like it better.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You will not leave the screen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's much better to have this direct feedback also. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Could you maybe skip to the slide 3 as I was about there? I will not start from the beginning. Maybe we can move to slide 3. Thank you so much for your help. And yes, you're right. This is a good illustration of collaboration. So I would like to start with a few examples of the potentials and the risk of digitalization. So I will start with the amazing, some example of the amazing possibilities offered by digitalization for organizations. So next slide, please. Just considering a few examples, digitalization and more generally IT, information technology, and artificial intelligence in particular is now really promising. And just to give an amazing example, if we look at what artificial intelligence is promising us in the medicine and in the health sector, artificial intelligence is used for better diagnosis of disease, and it's one way, for example, to extend life expectancy, which we can see as a major progress. If I move to a completely different professional environment, and if I focus on what we are doing mostly around this screen, education. In education, virtual learning environments and distance learning is also changing the higher education landscape by enabling students that are maybe struggling with disabilities to access learning because of this new technology, or people in secluded area to access worldwide resources. So once again, digitalization is enabling more students to engage, and we can reach more students. A last example in a different area, public services, the digitalization of public services make them become less bureaucratically burdensome. So here are many potentials and just a few examples, but there are many potentials of digitalization. At the same time, and please could you move to the next one? There are also risk and limitation for this digitalization process. If we believe the McKinsey company, this consulting firm predicts that 800 million people could lose their job because of automation by 2030, because they would be replaced by automated process or robots, or sometimes by the work of the clients themselves. If we look at what's going on in the retailing industry, for example, clients are dealing themselves at automatic pay station, and there's no longer cashiers to help them. So the work is reported to the customers. The development of IT and digitalization has also increased the required expertise of IT specialists, but it has also increased the need for cheap digital jobs. And every day, tens of millions of people like, comment, classify, and sort data on digital platforms. If you want to feed deep learning, you first need human labor to help the algorithm or the machine to distinguish, for example, what is what. So for image recognition, it's because we have trained the machine to recognize what is a flower, for example, and what is not a flower by hundreds and hundreds of clicks that the system is able to recognize by itself what a flower is at the end of the day. So people feeding these deep learning processes, or people moderating the platforms, they earn just a few cents to do this job, to erase offensive content, for example, on social media, or to answer customers' requests. So beside I would say the high skilled labor, which we need to train for the future, there are also cheap labor, which is spreading across the world, and especially in developing countries. Finally, I would like to emphasize that the digital world is very frail considering cyber attacks, and it's a never-ending race between security managers and hackers. And there are, for organization, a lot of potential cost related to cyber attacks. Of course, the loss related to the shutdown of systems, so direct operation cost, the cost also of the crisis management when you need to rely on external expertise and the specific mobilization of collaborators to maintain hardware, software. The cost also in reputation, the disorganization because of some shutdown can generate, of course, dissatisfied customers and may also engaged in legal cost. So once again, a few examples of the risk for organization related to digitalization. Now let's turn to the changes for citizens. Next slide, please. So once again, a lot of potentials for citizens opened by digitalization. One which is often emphasized is the empowerment of citizens and the possibility that is offered to them thanks to digitalization process to have a voice in real time. So instead of waiting for election and having a voice from time to time by changing the people they have elected, they can on a daily basis comment the decisions that are being made and express their opinion. And it's also a powerful tool for social organizing to voice one's concern. So obviously it's a tool for democracy. Digitalization is also providing extensive and instant access to information. Thanks to digitalization, we have access to an incredible amount of data. And of course, for young people, it's something that you take for granted and it's pretty obvious. But for someone as old as me, I did my PhD in a time where we had none of this digitalization, we had no internet, and just try to imagine that at that time we had to go to the library, of course constrained by opening hours. Then we looked on physical catalogs, and we looked on microfiche to identify the resources that we wanted to use. And then we discovered that they were borrowed, for example, and expected to be back in the library in 10 or 2 weeks, in 10 days or 2 weeks. So we had to wait for the return of the book to be able to read it. So of course it's the fact that all the data, or almost all the data, are now available immediately make a huge change in our daily life. But By the way, I just would like to say that before internet, there was already some valuable research, and that books are still worth reading. That's just a short message for all the students, because even if internet is so rich, I mean, it's an unbelievable resources, we are still I mean, we are still producing a lot of very interesting books with a thorough development of ideas, which is still very valuable for your learning and training programs. So I will also support to use both kind of sources. And finally, the easing of the daily life by speeding up the access to any service. Just once again, a few examples. If we think about urban mobility, it's now so easy to plan one's mobility, maybe to organize one's trip depending on rush hours. It's also possible to organize car sharing or to call for assistance if there's a problem. So, I mean, digitalization is opening a bunch of new services around urban mobility, for example, which is absolutely changing our daily life. And of course, once again, I think that all the young people take that for granted, but it's an amazing change to be able to reach our family and friends at any time with this very simple device, the smartphone that we all have in our pockets. So it's really the amazing possibility of quickly organizing anything, things that we could not imagine before. Of course, there are also the drawbacks and the risk of digitalization for citizens, let alone the fact that the access to internet is highly controlled in some non-democratic countries. I will not deal with that here, but that's also one point to look at. So if we look at the risk for citizens, I emphasize the empowerment that was opened by digitalization. But sometimes what we can observe is that the empowerment is turned into the proliferation of hate comments. The fact that everyone has a voice is not always for the better, and we can see the development, of course, of threats and cyberbullying, which actually puts pressure on expressing one's ideas, and it's a kind of postmodern form of censorship, which is going through this use of comments on social media. We can also see that the access to a tool like internet and all the associated services that are provided through these worldwide web, I mean, the access is not equal for everyone, or not open for everyone. So United Nations stressed the fact that the elderly and women also, especially in developing countries, are left behind the digital fracture, and women access 30% less access to internet for women in developing countries than compared to men. And finally, I just also would like to regret that sometimes social media have substituted to direct personal relations, and I refer here to this book by Sherry Turkle, in which she shows that we expect more from technology and less from each other, and paradoxically we end up alone together. And it's amazing to see, for example, that sometimes you have several people sitting at the same table in the restaurant, and everyone is looking at their phone, and they are not talking to each other. So this is, I think, a good image of what is being alone together. The second example of risk that I would like to mention is the proliferation of false or limited information. So let's talk about the fake news first. I mean, the possibility of disseminating any kind of information have given misinformation and fake news new platforms, and it's very easy to spread fake news across the world. I mean, of course, internet is acting as an amplifying echo chamber for these fake news. Moreover, the algorithm behind search engines work with associations, and instead of opening people's horizons, they tend to direct them to similar content. So the use of algorithm can replicate and even amplify the bias that we may have. So people end up living in a fantasy world of false facts, and they are I would say unable to access other kind of information because of the algorithm behind the search engine. So instead of bringing people closer, as it could be, digitalization make them live in parallel worlds, and it contributes to great social fracture. So when people have the real life opportunities to encounter, their representation are world apart, and instead of a dialogue, it can be a conflict between people carrying reinforced prejudices. Finally, the fact that to access digital services, we need to provide some personal data creates a frailty here, and of course the danger of data leaks of personal and financial data. So of course digitalization raises very, very crucial security and ethical issues. Now let's move to internationalization. So I would like also to have a look on the potential and risk of internationalization, because once again we can see that there are two sides of the coin. On one side, and let's start with this. We have the bright side of internationalization. So next slide, please. If we look at the bright side of internationalization, of course it's obvious, and I'm sure you have debated this all the week long. Internationalization has contributed to an overall economic growth over the last decades, and emerging countries have especially benefiting from it, which is of course a great achievement. So overall, there is across the world higher standard of living and real poverty alleviation. So just to give one figure here, or a few figures, we started from 36 people of the world population living on less than $1.9 a day in the 90s, and we have reached the ratio of 9% before the COVID crisis. So I think it's a great achievement, of course. But we are, especially in management and economic school, we are very much focused on the economic benefit of the internationalization, of course, but there are also other kind of benefits. The internationalization of culture. Of course, cultural products can now circulate across the planet, and I mean it's great that Bollywood productions are available everywhere, for example. And I could also mention the K-pop that young people are quite also keen on. So these cultural products circulate really across the planet, and this is something that digitalization combined with internationalization has made possible. And finally, in a very different domain, I would like to insist on the fact that the international circulation of information has also contributed to reduce human rights violations because of international pressures that are exerted once I would say the crime is obvious. There are some international pressures exerted on those who are infringing on these rights. So of course it's still happening, but if we look on the historical trends, we can observe that there's overall a reduction of human rights violation, which is clearly a great benefit. But at the same time, the other side of the coin, the less shiny side, even if poverty is decreasing and very significantly decreasing overall, the disparities are growing within countries. And between the economic elites and the most deprived people, we have a growing gap. So it is estimated that the richest 5% of the world's individuals capture 1/3 of the world's income, and it takes only 2 days for the richest 5% of people to earn what the poorest 5% earn in 1 year. So we can see here huge discrepancies in revenue that have not been reduced, on the contrary, by internationalization and globalization. We can also just mention that the state colonialism, which has disappeared, has been replaced by corporate imperialism, and that the exploitation of natural resources has often been conducted without giving substantial compensation for the pollution, for example, or substantial benefits from the economic activity that it provided for the surrounding population. So this is also, of course, a critical sources of inequalities. And finally, the international circulation of people, money, goods, and services also means the development of illicit international trade, or even worse, human trafficking. So once again, this is some estimated figures, but the fact that human beings are turned into commodities bought and sold on the international marketplace is not something we can rejoice about, of course, and women and children are especially exposed to this human trafficking. So what will the world of tomorrow look like? Of course, to all these transformations, there are bright sides and dark sides. And in this process, we can see both. And next slide, please. So on one side, we can see with digitalization and internationalization, new connections and new bridges between people, between cultures, between the different markets to increase the standard of living of everyone. But at the same time, we can see new frailties, the increased fragility of the system, the international interdependent system, and also new walls that are rising here and there. So oh, sorry, there must be one before, no? Sorry, no? Is it the really last one? Yeah, okay. So please, we stay there. The truth is that there is not a univocal direction for or just one way. Digitalization and internationalization brings, I would say, a set of contradictory pressure at play at the same time. And this is very important to understand that some people are really painting a dark picture of the future, and some are really depicting a bright future. I mean, the science tells us that the truth is that it's both at the same time, and that we should work for research, development, and innovation. And by innovation, I do not only mean technical innovation, but also social innovation, to tip the balance in the direction of progress for all. And I think that's what higher education is all about. So no one can predict what tomorrow will be like, not because it's not a matter of accurate forecast or perspective, but because it's not a deterministic trajectory. And tomorrow will be what we are doing, will depend on what we are doing today. And it's in our hands to act in one direction or the other. So it depends on what we as academics do today, but most importantly, what you as young citizens do today. So to conclude this speech, I just would like to say, let's all together do research, learn, and engage. Thank you very much for bearing with me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Sylvie Chevrier. That was all our concerns expressed so beautifully and with such a wide canvas. All of us feel these things. And I think education has thought about it. We have gone from STEM for so many years. We had science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But the last 1 year or so has made people concerned that we need liberal arts to get the compassion and empathy for human existence. So we have STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So let's hope that all these concerns will get addressed, because we as educators have this responsibility with us for creating the future. Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Sylvie Chevrier, for this wonderful canvas of the tensions and contradictions from digitalization and internationalization.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you very much.
We have had a partner university that has taken and given wonderful hospitality to so many batches of our students. This is Hochschule Koblenz, Rhein campus, Germany. And there in that campus, we have a person, Jens Andreas Falstich. I think all the students who have gone there worship you for all that you have done for them, for all the little thoughtful gestures that you have done for them, and you continue to do even after they leave that campus. You give them LinkedIn recommendations, which are really like a medal on their CV. So over to Jens Andreas Falstich. He is a Deputy Director, International Affairs, Koblenz University, Germany. He brings us greetings from Germany.
Thanks a lot. And I would like to start sharing my slides now. Okay. Okay, I think you can see them now. Right, first of all, dear colleagues, dear partners, dear friends, it's great to be here and to talk to you. And actually, dear students, I would like to start this with a question. What would you like to remember 2022 for? Would it be that it's the third year of the pandemic, or would it be the year where you took a decision that changed your life? Actually, I hope that some of you would choose that answer. And actually, if that answer was your answer, you will see a lot of options for this today. And actually, all of these options are great. But I would like to talk about just one. And that would be find a suitcase and come to Koblenz and to Rhein campus. I remember Vice Chancellor Professor Singh, and he talked about how he was able to see so many countries in a day. And actually that reminded me of Lawrence, because actually every year he's doing a summer cycling trip with his wife and friends. And what they do then is they have breakfast in the Netherlands, lunch in Belgium, and dinner in Germany. So basically, once you are in Europe, there are so many things to see. If you look at that map, the red spot marks Remagen, the place you might be studying. And as you can see, Paris is only a stone's throw away. With your rail connection, it might be just 2 or 3 hours. London is pretty close, Berlin, and all these places. So basically, you're in the center of Europe, and you can explore not only Germany, but also the European Union. And I would like to start with some experience, some testimonials from students who came to us from Pondicherry University. And actually what Jency said was the best experience I ever had during my stay is to work with students from different countries during my internship. Along with me, there were students from Albania, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Greece, and Jordan. And you can imagine what an impact that has on your future life if you work with so many diverse people and learn how to lead them on a project, how to motivate them, how to listen to them, and also how to appreciate the different cultures they come from and they are connected to. And actually, the second testimonial I would like to share focuses on something that I find extremely important as well. Not only that's that beautiful winter picture, which shows you that you might be experiencing snow if you come in winter, so bring your warm jumpers as well. But actually, apart from meeting all these different cultures, you might also reflect on your own cultural background and heritage when you travel. That means coming back, or while you're abroad, you may suddenly start to enjoy things and appreciate things about the culture you come from. And you may start sharing some of the traits and practices from your own culture with your new friends. And that will also contribute to a deeper cultural understanding. And we would like to encourage both. We would like to help you to be open-minded and flexible and appreciate other cultures. But of course, we also want other cultures and also our German students to meet with you and exchange views. So basically, these are some of the things that we hope to initiate if you make your plans to study at Rhein-Ahr campus. But what else are our exchange students hoping to see? When I talk to them, often they tell me that it's easy to meet new people from all over the world, basically, and to make friends. And obviously, if it's a relatively compact institution and campus, it's also easy to integrate into student groups and seminars. And students appreciate the fact that as a University of Applied Sciences, we are devoted to practical applications. So learning is not an isolated thing. It's not only about theory, but it's also about applying all this knowledge to practical projects. And obviously, that means that students often experience a relatively steep learning curve as well. So if you decide to pack your rucksacks or suitcases, do expect to experience something different. You may be involved in projects such as the Green Erasmus Initiative, which plays for a more sustainable planet and which hopes to build on the environmental awareness that is now so important to our generation. You might be involved in international conferences and meet people not only from Germany, but also from the United States, partly online and partly on site. Of course, if you decide to come, you should start your planning process early enough. And this is why I said 2022 might be the year where you decided to do something that changed your life, because actually you would need to start the planning process early enough. If you wanted to come in winter 2022 and experience some snow in Germany, the application deadline would be 30th of June. actually, you would be equipped with a semester ticket that allows you to travel for free in the region using trains, buses, and trams to Bonn, Koblenz, and Cologne, so some major cultural destinations. We would help you with finding accommodation, which would be for about 280 to 350 euro per month. But actually, one important fact we shouldn't ignore is the Erasmus Plus scholarship you may be applying for, and that might actually be 850 per month plus flight expenses. And so if you see that scholarship, then you also see that the living expenses will be manageable if you decide to come here. Now, actually, this was a really, really brief invitation because actually what I feel is we shouldn't make the first step and meet virtual and forget about the second step, which would be meeting in real life. Virtual meetings are wonderful, and I appreciate all the work that so many people have put into this seminar and all your personal contributions by making time and joining this. But actually, the next step should be something on your long-term agenda as well. And if you decide to come, please contact us and we'll be very willing to help you along with these steps. So, dear colleagues, partners, and friends, thanks for organizing this wonderful masterclass series. And let's look forward to the next steps of our cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andreas, for once again welcoming yet another batch to Koblenz. Yes, the students are already wanting to go. All of them want to change their lives. We have another partner university that we recently signed our MOU with. That is the School of Management, Freiburg University of Applied Sciences and Arts, Switzerland. This MOU was signed in September 2021, and we have to start opening the gates for the student exchange programs and possibly other exchange programs in future. We have with us today Ms. Priscilla Stetler-Lenkong. She's a program manager and coordinator, Asian Division, with the School of Management, Freiburg. She has a background in English teaching and in public relations, and she's responsible for the short programs, including exchange semesters and summer schools. The School of Management Freiburg runs some very, very prestigious summer schools, of which they have offered free seats to some of our students. So she'll be doing an introduction about Freiburg and talking about the various program and opportunities available. Over to Ms. Priscilla for opportunities in Freiburg.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm very happy to be here. Can you hear me all very well? Okay, perfect. So thank you. First of all, thank you to Pondicherry University and especially the organizing committee for inviting us on this fantastic event. It's so good to know that even a global pandemic cannot stop the quest for knowledge. So we're very excited here to welcome Pondicherry students in Freiburg. As Professor Uma was saying, this agreement is very fresh. The ink has barely dried, but we are very excited. So today, I'm going to talk about, I'm just going to briefly introduce our school, maybe a little bit of Switzerland, and let students know what's available to them if they should choose to come to Switzerland. Right, so let me just, I'm going to share my screen. I hope it works. Share. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay. So, the school, we are the School of Management Freiburg. And, oh, is that working? Yes. The School of Management Freiburg, also known locally as the HG, is located in the city of Freiburg. You can see here, that's the map of Switzerland, in the canton of Freiburg. Now, if you if you have never been to Switzerland, you might think chocolate or luxury watches or even the Swiss Alps. So this is the Matterhorn. It's the unofficial symbol of Switzerland, and the flag of India was actually projected on the Matterhorn on 18 April 2020 and to express solidarity in overcoming the coronavirus. And I thought that's a pretty nice picture and pretty apt to share with you today. So if you have thought all of that, the cheese, the chocolate, the Matterhorn, about Switzerland, you're not wrong. And we are all of that, but we are also so much more. A lot of people are actually surprised to learn that we have been named most innovative country in the world by the Global Innovation Index for 11 years running. So that's Switzerland for you. But what I want to talk to you today is I want to introduce Freiburg to you. So Freiburg, that's the city of Freiburg. That's the iconic panoramic view of Freiburg. We are situated in Western Switzerland, which is the French-speaking area of Switzerland. It's centrally located between the capital Bern and Geneva, which most of you know as the diplomatic and international headquarters of UN. It's one of two bilingual cities of Switzerland. So you might know that Switzerland we have 4 official languages. That's French, German, Italian, and Romansh. And in Freiburg, French and German is spoken. So now Freiburg is a historic city. If you look at the picture, you can see that's the St. Nicholas Cathedral, and all the buildings below are pretty old. So it's known for its architecture dating back to the medieval times. What it's also very famous for is its universities. Freiburg is what you might call a campus city. In Freiburg, you'll find campuses of the University of Applied Sciences, Western Switzerland, which School of Management belongs to. We have 4 campuses in Freiburg. And you also find the campus of University of Freiburg. At this point, it's quite important to note that we are not the University of Freiburg. We are often confused with University of Freiburg, but that's not the case. So we have Applied Sciences. So I'm just going to go over this quickly. As mentioned, we are part of University Applied Sciences and Arts Western Switzerland. That's also known as HSSO in Switzerland locally. It was founded in 1998. It's the largest University of Applied Sciences in Switzerland with 28 campuses across 7 cantons. So if this is Switzerland, it's basically split into different regions. We are in the Western region. These are 7 cantons, and we have 28 campuses, offering 6 fields of study. And this year alone, we have close to 22,000 students. So it's a big campus. It's a big university. One thing that we are very proud of is that 95.2% of our bachelor graduates are able to find a job in less than a year. Now, specifically our School of Management Freiburg. So we offer students 3 degrees, the business and the master's in business administration. And in the master's program, you can also major in entrepreneurship. That's based here in Freiburg, major in entrepreneurship, growth, and innovation. Apart from that, we also offer an executive MBA in integrated management. So these are the full degree programs. But I believe what you're interested in is more the short programs, because this is what is available to you on an exchange program. We have the Diploma in Financial Management, which can be said to be our signature course. Then we have a regular exchange semester where you can put together your own course plans. And lastly is the summer school, which we have been running for close to 10 years now. I'm going to go over a little bit more in detail what the different programs are. So in the general exchange program, we welcome you to come for 1 or 2 semesters with the summer school in addition. So if you come for 2 semesters, we will also offer you the summer school in combination to that. We have courses in English, French, and German. Of course, in order to attend any of these classes, you have to have adequate language skills in each respective language. The courses available to you, this is a rather special case with Pondicherry. So we are offering you courses from not only the master program, but also the bachelor program. So we have courses then ranging from finance, management, entrepreneurship, which is our strong point here in Fribourg, marketing, as well as innovation. So this is practical free range. You can choose mix and match, so to speak, any courses in any languages, as long as Pondicherry University accepts your choices, and that would to make up enough ECTS or credits that you need for your school, for your program. Alternatively, we also have predefined programs that you can choose to take part in. For example, the Diploma in Financial Management. This is a semester program. And it's only in spring, so that means it runs only in February through June every year. Despite the name Diploma in Financial Management, there is a little caveat, as in it's not a standalone diploma. It's only valid in combination with your full degree program, right? So in this is a financial management course with we have 6 modules, which include, for example, portfolio management, applied corporate finance, risk management, and you also have to do a applied finance project. And you have the option to learn French or German. Why not? The classes are always by world-class professors and guest speakers, and it's nice to note that our professors are all with practical experiences. They've all worked in the industry, so they're very the experts in their fields. Of course, you'll be visiting a lot of these financial institutions as well. One of our strong partners that we visit regularly is Leontech, a fintech and digital finance company, as well as Credit Suisse, which I'm sure most of you have heard of. Now, also in this program, we always integrate cultural activities to help you settle in to the Swiss way of life. It can be very, very different, not just for Asian students, foreign students, but also for European students. And we have students coming from, for example, where was the last one? From Spain, and she had quite a culture shock as well. So anyway, at the end of the course, assuming you pass everything, you will receive a certificate of completion. So that's the Diploma in Financial Management. Next up, we have the summer school. So as I mentioned before, we've been running the summer school for close to 10 years now, and we're always updating it to make it relevant and relevant to whatever's happening today, the economy, the political status of things. It's a 4-week program consisting I made a mistake there, not 2 modules, but 4. These modules are also available as standalone modules, so we're very flexible in that sense. The first one is entrepreneurship and innovation. The second one, digital finance and fintech. Then we have sustainability, and lastly, leadership and corporate purpose. What's unique about our summer school is it's less theory, less lectures, more meet the industry players, meet the experts, hear from the people who are on the ground. So you'll be hearing a lot from people, from entrepreneurs themselves, people who are involved in startups or involved in the fight for sustainability, for example. And we're visiting a lot of companies to see how theory is applied in practice. We will also organize activities for you to have the Swiss experience. And like all our short programs, you will receive a certificate of completion at the end of the summer school. Now, so I was gonna show you a video, quick video of Fribourg, because a picture paints more than 1,000 words, but I'm not sure we have enough time. Do we have time, Dr. Luma? I can't.
Sure, Priscilla, you can go ahead.
Yeah, we have time. Okay, it's a very short video. So I hope just to show you why you might want to choose to come to Fribourg. Hope this works, and I hope you can hear it. I don't think you can hear the audio, but
The audio is not.
yeah. But oh, sorry. But still, it's just music, but you can see visuals of. So that's the Fribourg panoramic view of St. Nicholas.
Professor, if you cast this, Professor, if you cast, we can hear also the audio.
I'm not sure how I can do that.
Copy the link and place it in a new tab and play
In a
it.
new tab. Okay. Let me try that. So maybe if I can.
In India, we have this saying that, you're paying somebody fees for eating sweets. So you're trying to.
I'm not sure what that means.
Anybody is Switzerland markets itself.
Yeah. Let me find. Okay, I think I found it. Oh. Okay, how do I cast?
Paste it on a new tab.
Okay.
And play it from there.
You need to share.
Okay. I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
Share that tab, yes.
Okay. And then I share the tab.
You have to share it in the Meet, ma'am.
Yes.
Share it in the Meet, the new tab.
Share tab.
The casting. You have to cast.
Is this it?
Yes.
Let's see. Let's try. Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. So that basically concludes what I have to offer, or what we have to offer to India, to Pondicherry. Yes. So once again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Pondicherry University, all our colleagues and partner universities. Thank you for having us today. I hope that we can overcome this virus soon, this pandemic soon, and that we can actually meet in person soon.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Priscilla. That was a wonderful, wonderful introduction. And I'm sure our students are seeing themselves in Freiburg to create their future. Right now, we have had 5 days of a wonderful partnership experience, and it's my pleasant, duty to propose a word of thanks. Now, because of the paucity of time, I'll try to be like a rapper and try to wrap it up. So let me start from day one, and let me start from how we got the person responsible for giving us the go-ahead to do this, our Vice Chancellor, Professor Gurmeet Singh. He has always encouraged international partnerships. And sir, you are seeing the fruition of all the MOUs that have been signed during your tenure. So you have met Professor Eric, the UPEC was the first one we signed. And then you have met Professor Bogman, because that was the second one we signed. Freiburg was signed in the online new standard operating procedures that we signed the whole MOU online. So this, we really thank you, sir, for your thrust towards internationalization. We thank our Dean International Relations for sharing his very good wishes with us and being with both the inauguration and the valediction for this 5-day International Masterclass Week 2022. On behalf of the HOD, Head of the Department, Professor Charumati, and the Dean School of Management, Professor Chandrasekhar Rao, I thank all the speakers who have shared your time, your resources, and your expertise, and you have inspired our students. We started with Professor Bogman on the inaugural day with the power of partnerships. Then we had greetings from France from Professor Eric Hertzler, who came back again on his international masterclass with his Globalization 4.0. We had a beautiful experience of customer experience management, innovation experience management with Steinhoff from Koblenz. And we again had a scintillating day yesterday about neuromarketing from Professor Bart Noah. So today we have in the valediction where we listened to Professor Sylvie Chevrier, such a humane, such a concerned expression of all the contradictions and tensions of internationalization and digitalization. So on behalf of Dr. Victor and me and myself, we will definitely have to thank our students who have worked with us over these days. We haven't slept. We have all stayed awake all night. We have worked only in virtual space. We have not met each other till today. We have never met these students. We are only taking online classes, and we have been able to do this completely virtually. Now, if you meet the Buddha, you will know that there is one Mr. Gopi Shankar in the first year who is the equivalent of the Buddha. His patience for incorporating every change in the design of the brochure, the invite, the posters that you see, all that is Gopi Shankar. Gopi Shankar, I'd like you to wave to the audience, please, so that people see you. And on YouTube, you'll get the speaker view of Gopi Shankar because he needs to be shown. He is the equivalent of the Buddha. And then we have the YouTube live stream team, again Gopi Shankar, and we have Mr. Dhanaraj. Dhanaraj is a YouTuber for the past 3 or 4 years. He runs his own YouTube channels. So he is the one who's showing this whole show on YouTube. Then we have our tech team who are inside the Google Meet, which are Amir Abdu. He shared your slides today, Professor Sylvie. And we have Ratna Murugan, we have Harita, Madhumita, and Lakshman Naidu. Please, all of you, I hope you have your videos on. And in the content team, we have Kamali, Madhumita, Srinidhi, Sushmita, Anjana, Iona, Karthik. This content team have been going to all the websites of all your universities and dragging the content from there and bringing it for the profiles of in the brochure that you found. We have a very wonderful and excellent, senior programming officer in our department. His name is Mr. Arivu Oli. He is the one who has sent you the meeting to the Google Meet that all of you have received. He has put all your email IDs inside the Google Meet so that it makes sure that all of you get the meet, and he's admitting you into the meet. So thank you very much, Mr. Arivoli. He's a very humble person, but his expertise is simply amazing. And we have our office staff, Mr. Anbaragan, who has always been very supportive, and he's our office manager. We have all our faculty members who have shared all their good wishes and been with us throughout these 5 days. Victor and I have been able to pull this off completely thanks to all the people I have mentioned here and many more people who we have not mentioned here. We have audiences on the YouTube channel. We had students from 20 years ago, Mr. Ravindra Arora yesterday, and we had another friend from another university, that is from Delhi. She participated yesterday through YouTube. We have so many people from all walks of life who are doing this. Sir, Vice Chancellor, sir, we request your kind permission for this. Now the YouTube videos are raw because they are just streamed live. So we'll just polish them up a bit. The beginning and the ends where the edges have to be polished up a bit. And once we polish them up, the expertise that has been shared here should not just remain for this one day. So we'd like to post them on our university website. We will be submitting these videos for posting on our university website. And we would also encourage all our partner universities to share them in whatever way possible, because all your knowledge is not just for this audience. It should really reach places, and we have to be really inclusive in our digitalization and internationalization. Let everybody learn and let everybody enjoy your master classes.
I absolutely agree, and that's the right thing to do. Please
Yes.
go ahead.
Yes, sir. So we'll take a few days just for the edits. Edits will not be anything to do with the body of the content, just the beginning and the end where we may have had a rough start or a rough end. So we will patch them up, and then we will make it, or put it on show. So I'm so happy that I could wrap RAP and WRAP, this word of thanks, in the quickest possible way. And now I leave the floor to Victor. He is going to be presenting the alumni of France. That is those alumni who have attended the exchange program with our University of East Paris, France. Victor?
Thank you, Professor Uma. Hello, dignitaries. The formal valediction is over. We want to do a 15 minutes study in France promo during this time, just as we did a 15-minute study in Germany promo on Monday, right after the inauguration. I'm very happy to present to you our alumnus. I think we have 3 of our alumni. Anvesha from 1820 batch. Then we have Nishab Sood from 19 to 21. And we also have Abhishek Ganesan from 18 to 20. Now we have exchanged about 6 batches with UPEC till now in the last 3 years. So I give them 10 minutes. They have something to tell the students. This is primarily for the students who are very keen on spending a semester abroad with our French partner universities. So Anvesha, Abhishek and Nishab, we are so proud of you. You were our brave hearts during the worst possible pandemic breakout. You had the courage to venture out all the way to France, make the best use of your 1 semester stay, and come back. So over to you, whichever order you have planned, Abhishek, Anvesha, and Nisha.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Bonjour. Thank you for giving this opportunity to share my experience at Paris. Hope, is it clear? Okay, so well, Paris has been a wonderful experience. It is a beautiful city, home to so many great museums and top cuisine and beautiful architecture. So it is an experience of a lifetime, I would say. And we are so glad to have that opportunity to go to a place, such beautiful place as Paris. So by sharing our experience, and we truly hope that some of the students would take up this opportunity and really make the most out of it. So let's start about the classes that we had at Paris. So there are all four categories of subjects. There is marketing, there is finance, and HR, and operation. So you can choose whatever subjects you wish to. The very interesting thing that I've noticed, which I did not find in at Pondicherry University, is the class population. It is just in one class we would have around 20 to 25 students, and so the professor could actually focus on all the students, and it is really you feel as if you are kind of getting the attention from the professors. So it is very flexible, the classes. It is 3 hours long. You completely focus on it. And well, it is very intense, I would say, and really wonderful experience. So, so I'll start with my experience, how I reached there. So initially when I reached, obviously I felt a bit out of place, wasn't very comfortable at the beginning, but the university prepares hosts an organization which is called the Erasmus International Group, where there are students from all the international students are formed a group across all the departments of the university, and then we go out, have a Paris tour, and we visit so many places, and we participate in many events. So yeah, we went to like events such as, like, we went to a fashion show, we went to many exhibitions, we went to museums and dine out at night somewhere. So it was overall a great experience, I would say. Well, you build so many contacts with people, with international students, and that is very important as an MBA student. And yeah, it is truly one of a lifetime experience, and I really, really wish students would take this opportunity. So this experience, so I had gone alone to Paris, and well, I was really scared in the beginning, but well, you really grow as a person when you travel alone and travel in a new city. It you face so many challenges, and it just makes you stronger and builds your confidence a lot. Well, I would tell about one incident that happened. So in one of the marketing classes, which is so we had a professor called Professor Patrick. Yeah, so he teaches global brand management. So in one of the classes, we are talking about brands, and we're discussing about brands. And when I had to give an example, all I could think of was Indian brands. So, this international setup really pushes your boundaries to learn so much more than just where you are. You get a global perspective of everything. And well, you'll have to go out of a comfort zone and face challenges, so which builds your confidence. So the life lessons, I would say, that I had learned, from the basic simple things. It might sound silly, but it is very important in life, like how to find your way, how to travel, how to budget, how to plan your budget, how to buy foods, where to visit, all these simple things, practical things will actually make you grow. So you grow as a person, you build your confidence, and well, overall, it's a wonderful experience. So please go for it, and don't worry about the COVID situation. I'll tell you, when it first hit at Paris, we had a lockdown. Uh, so I was, I didn't know what to do, but within 2 or 3 days, the university contacted all the international students, you know, how we were, where we are, when are we going to go back to our own country. So they were taking care of all the international students, and they were constantly in touch with us. So please don't be scared of this COVID-19 situation. It's going to be there or not. The university is going to support you no matter what. So, Abhishek?
Well,
I don't know if he's there.
Alive or Nisha. Well, Anvesha was all alone.
Yeah,
Usually
looks
we send
like.
at least 2 or 3 students, but that batch, she was the only brave heart that we could find. Abhishek, are you here? In the meantime, students, if you have any specific
Yes,
questions
yes,
about,
please ask questions.
yeah, please post in the chat, and Anvesha and others would take them. If you have questions specifically about opportunities in France, in UPEC, please post the questions in chat. Anvesha, is Nishab and Abhishek joining you here?
I don't think Abhishek is joining.
Okay, well, Pradeep has to rush for a meeting.
Yes, it just looks like it's only
Yeah,
me.
Pradeep
So.
works for TCS and he had a client meeting scheduled. That's what he told me. Yeah.
Okay, so please ask any questions, anything. Just ask about food or places to visit or anything.
Well, students, we have about 5 minutes for Q&A if you have. Anvesha, to set the ball rolling, let me ask you. Oh, okay. Well, Harita has a question. Are there any internship opportunities in Paris? Harita, are you referring to a part of the semester at UPEC, or are you referring to outside the university?
No, sir. While she was in Paris, while she was doing the semester there.
Okay. Anvesha, would you like to respond? Maybe Professor Eric can pitch in if required.
If I may intervene, thank you so much, Awisha, for sharing your experience. And I'm sorry you had a terrible experience at the airport. The thing is, you are exchange students. So officially, you are students from the University of Pondicherry. So if you want to engage with a local company in France, you would have to sign some kind of a contract, an internship contract between the company, you, and the University of Pondicherry. I have had in the past some exchange students who did find some works, but usually those that really engage into internships are all on students who are actually students from UPEC, and we do the internship convention with them. I hope this is clear now.
Thank you, Eric. There is another question, Anvesha. Did you miss Pondi weather in Paris? I know it doesn't snow here. It never goes below 20, 22, 23. How did you cope up?
Yeah, I found it a little difficult in the beginning, but I actually like the cold weather. So it was easy for me there. I really felt home because I kind of knew French a little bit, and I studied a lot about the French culture. So I found it home there.
So Amir, I'm afraid we have to change the question. Do you miss Paris weather in Pondicherry?
Yes. If I have the chance, I would definitely go there again.
Anyone else, students, if you have a question? Anvesha, let me ask, here is a question from Sridhar. Did you have any on-campus interview for job in Paris?
No, because that is not an option.
Okay, Sridhar, as Professor Eric mentioned, the visa that you travel on doesn't qualify you for work there. I hope you understand that. But that's not the end of the world, isn't it? Come back, finish your MBA, get employed with BNP Paribas. We have had them coming to our campus in the past, and go back and work in France.
Yes, you may even, after your MBA, if you want to specialize in a degree, you could do 1-year program in France in English. and then and then you'll get the working permit to start and work in France. We have had in the past some students from India who joined us to do for 1 year, and then they were in the labor market, in the French labor market system. I believe the most authentic now Parisian croissant, you'll find them in Japan or in South Korea. This is globalization. But I do know a few top bakeries in Paris where you have those croissants, really crispy on the outside, very tender and soft and buttery in the inside. Yet it's hard to find them. You have so many, but maybe, and Wisha, you have other experience.
I have tried in many cafes, but I'm not sure if they're authentic, but they're really different from what we get in Pondy.
Anvesha, there's a question from Maria. Once you're in France, what's the most special thing that you should not miss, especially when you are an exchange student?
Well, if you have a student visa, you can go, you have access to all the museums there, free of cost. So I think I have explored with other international students or alone. I've tried to visit all the museums possible. I have missed out on many because there are a lot, but that is a must thing. That's like number one, you have to do that in Paris.
Anvesha, did you have sufficient choices in terms of courses taught in English, especially the subjects that you were looking for? Did you find them?
Yes. Yes. I mean, initially I'd chosen a few subjects, but they were not there. So I had to kind of change my learning agreement. But I think I found most of the courses. So I was very interested in marketing and HR. So I found plenty of them. Yeah.
Students, I think we have time for one or maybe two questions. Anyone has anything to ask? Since we are running out of time, feel free to unmute. And
Victor, if I may add about on the question of Maria James, I think the thing you should not miss in France is meeting some French people. Yeah. That's the thing you should not miss. And then, of course, you can visit the museum, you can visit all Europe. But I believe that the part of the most exciting things in traveling abroad is meeting local people. Yeah. I hope, Anwisha, you met and you were able to interact a bit with some of the French students.
Yes, because we had this Erasmus group and there were a few of the French students who were taking charge of it and taking us around the Paris. So yes, I know a few of them and I got to interact with them, yes. I'm actually still in touch with them. Sometimes we message.
Anvesha, this is the last question, and after you respond, I'll hand over to our host for the evening. Okay. What is the total out-of-pocket cost? Well, at the moment, we do not have a scholarship, but Professor Eric is working on that. I hope something positive will come through, and we are grateful for the efforts that he's taking. So for this batch, if they go next fall, obviously they're going to be spending. How much does it cost, if we may ask you very openly? You can exclude your shopping expenses.
Yes, that's a little difficult for me because I had kept about 3 lakhs for 4 months, but I obviously did not stay for that long. I stayed for a very short time, and I had also very other expenses such as flight tickets. I had to book 2 flight tickets, one which I had to miss. So here and there, my cost had increased. But I had estimated around 3 lakhs for 4 months, including everything. Yeah.
I think your juniors added maybe 100,000 to that because obviously they spent the full semester.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
2 to 4 lakhs in the
would be, yes,
is
yeah.
what we are looking at. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you watch PSG playing?
If I may add very quickly on the cost of living, it really depends the way you live.
Correct.
And how you organize yourself. And if you save, and I have some international students that are also working online sometimes, so they can make sure that they face those costs. And then if you're lucky enough to share places with other international students, then the accommodation really goes down. But it's all about information and networking. So yeah, sorry for that.
Great. Thank you, Anvesha. I'm sure you represented our elite alumni exchange students to UPEC. Thank you very much for taking the time to join. And back to our host for the evening, Professor Uma.
Thank you so much, Victor, and thank you, Anvesha. Thank you, Eric, for this visit to France. Now we have Professor Sylvie back again, and the tradition that we have followed for the 5 days, Sylvie, is that the person who speaks chooses the gesture we make for the group photograph. So day 1 was Korean heart, day 2 was this heart, day 3 was this, day 4 was this, and today it's your choice. What would you like us to do on the photograph? You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, that's a challenge I haven't thought about. The most, I would say, warm sign to epitomize our community here. But if you had it with 2 thumbs ups, I would like to suggest with 1.
1 thumb, okay. Okay. All videos on, please.
Which side? Which side? The left or the right?
Your choice. Diversity is good.
Yes.
Good.
So we are all posing for the screenshots. We have a team, our tech team, taking the screenshots.
Just one more moment.
Is that done?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. These 4 days I have been saying, see you tomorrow, same time. How I wish we could do that. But this is the last day of our International Masterclass Week 2022. And we have had wonderful times with all the professors who have spoken and with the hospitality teams. Look at Andrea's inviting you to Germany, and you have Priscilla inviting you to Switzerland, and you have Eric there wanting you to come to France, and you have Sylvie there who also says come to France to my university. So you have competition from your hosts to host you all. Okay, bye, and thank you all for this beautiful experience of International Masterclass Week 2022.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you again.